So deep in love with you, you can take my heart and give me love with Jesus. I'm so deep in love with you, so deep in love with you. You can take my heart and give me your heart. I cannot explain why you love me so deep. Jesus, give me your heart. I cannot explain. I cannot explain why you love me.
And give me your heart. The lover of my soul, and the keeper of my heart.
I never love.
Give me your heart.
I cannot explain why you love me so. Jesus, I cannot explain why you love me so. Jesus, I cannot explain it. Why you love me so? Why you love me so? Jesus, sweetest name we know. Deep in love with you,
You can take my heart.
and give me
Jesus, I'm deep in love.
Okay. A very good evening to all of us. It's another beautiful evening, another beautiful Zoom meeting, dubbed Inspire. I know we are all expectant, and I was just checking to see how many of us are already um, participating, and I realized we are already 28. That's amazing to know that we are so hungry and thirsty to hear other people's stories so that we can also be inspired. So, once again, I say a very big welcome to all of you. Bishop and Mama Angie, you are welcome. And all of us, we are welcome. We are all welcome to tonight's meeting. Tonight, my inspirational quote is taken from, it's a scripture actually, and it's taken from Jeremiah 29:11. It's a popular scripture we know, but tonight I just want us to ponder over it a little. It says, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." I know it's a popular scripture. Sometimes when the battle gets tough, we push it under the carpet and refuse to ponder over it. But tonight, Bible, God says that He doesn't plan to harm us, and that is satisfying enough. He has a very good plan for us, so you and I can relax and enjoy the process. So tonight, without much ado, I want to introduce our speaker or our guest. So he's no other person but our own Reverend Samuel Kwashi. So for those of us who are new on the platform, I haven't seen any new face, but just for the sake of those who are a little new, and for those of us who may not know much about him, I just want to read something brief about him, and then we zoom into this evening's questions. Okay, so here we go. So Samuel Kwashi is a graduate of the Russian Friendship University, Moscow, Russia. Mr. Kwashi holds an MSc in structural engineering and a BSc in civil engineering, and is also an associate member of the Ghana Institute of Engineers. Mr. Kwashi worked with Trasaco Estate Development Company Limited and is a seasoned professional in the construction industry. Mr. Kwashi is the Chief Executive Officer of the Elegant Homes and General Construction Limited. He's a father of four. He's a husband to Mama Dolly, and also a reverend minister at Rima Outreach Church. I know this is our home and we know that already, but just for record's sake. So tonight I want to welcome our guest, Reverend Kwashi. You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so please, um, all that I've read about you, are they true, please?
They are.
Oh, okay. So guys, I'm not misleading you. Okay, I don't mislead. So you can trust the process this evening. So this evening, as usual, we want to hear his story. We want to hear how he started. Okay, so we want to hear how the whole journey started and how he made use of all the opportunities that came his way so that you and I can learn a thing or two. So, Reverend Question. So, please tell us, who is Reverend Kwashi? I mean, just a bit about who Reverend Kwashi is.
Yeah, Philly, I think you've said it all. I was born in Michelle Camp. I grew up in Michelle Camp. My dad was an ex-military. I attended preparatory school in Michelle Camp, then moved to Accra Academy, then Accra Academy for 1 to 5, then went to Presec for my 6th form. Then went to Russia Friendship University, Moscow, for my BSc and my masters. Came back 1998. Um, I was with Rema before I left, and came back 1998. Joined Trasaco 1998 till
Okay.
2004.
Okay.
Then I started Elegant in 2006. To my beautiful wife Dorothy and 4 kids. For the kids, we are not counting, so we thank God.
I tell you.
Okay, so you know how it normally goes. When you ask somebody and the person starts saying it very fast. Oh, from this stage I went here, from this stage I went here. Sometimes you want to believe that, oh, that is all there is to life. How we wish we could the process could be like that, you know? From one stage, no restrictions, no battles. Then you go from here to here. I wish it were like that. But then we want to know, we know it wasn't like that. So we want to know every stage how you were able to conquer the battles that came your way. So first of all, I just want to find out, what were your family like? Your childhood? What were they like? Were you born in a Christian home? Did you have some Christian background? I mean, how was your childhood like?
Um, I was born in a Christian home. My
Okay.
dad then was a was an elder of Divine Less Church. In fact,
Okay.
I was born in Divine Less Church,
Okay.
baptized in Divine Less Church, grew up in Divine Less Church until 2006, thereabout, when I sought permission from, we sought myself and Reverend Nico then from our dad to join Rhema. Our dad wasn't very happy, but he got convinced with time that yes,
Okay.
so he allowed us to join Rhema, and since then we've been moving on. My dad was, I told you earlier, was an ex-military. We're living
Yes.
in Michelle camp, and where my dad was a junior rank. In fact, the maximum he got to was corporal. So I
Mm,
saw my dad as a private, lance corporal, and
okay.
then a corporal before he resigned from the military and joined Senate.
Okay.
So we're living in one of those small houses in Michelle camp. Basically, it's hall and chamber. It's just a hall and a bedroom. But before then, as a corporal, you'll be living in a single room, just one room, everything inside. But then, as a corporal, they move you to a hall and a chamber, a toilet, and a small kitchen, and that was it. As a child growing up, Michelle Camp, we had services primary, and uh, you attend for free by virtue of the fact that your parents are in the military. So we
Okay.
attended that school for free. One thing that really I wasn't happy about, and I saw my dad as a very good man, a very, very good man, very religious, very prayerful, and yet he was serving everybody. He was serving the sergeants, the officers, everybody. He was saying yes, sir, to everybody. And I hated it. I felt that why should my daddy be saluting everybody on the street? And each time I'm working with him, I was working with him, he kept on saluting almost everybody.
Okay.
Meanwhile, in the class, we had obviously officers' children, other children, and I wasn't bad. I wasn't bad. And I was doing very well in school and still seeing my dad saluting everybody. And I decided for military, I would never join military.
Okay.
That's number one. And number two, I would do everything possible for somebody else to salute me.
Wow.
We salute, yes, sir.
I see.
Yeah.
So I was even about asking you why you didn't join the military, but then I've been answered already.
No,
So
I
one
hate,
of the reasons why you didn't join was that the yes massa thing.
yeah, I don't, no, no, never.
So, but did you know exactly what you wanted to be? At least you know what you didn't want to be, but did you know what you wanted to be?
No, 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 I did not. My dad, obviously, corporal meant that he did middle school, certificates, and so he didn't know much about professions. I also didn't know much about professions. Um, I didn't know. What I knew for sure was that I didn't want to be a military man. I also knew for sure I didn't want to be a medical doctor. I also
Okay.
knew for sure I didn't want to be a journalist.
Okay.
I didn't want to be a lawyer. In
Okay.
fact, I didn't want to be any of those, I call them bed reading subjects. The ones that you can lie on bed and read. I didn't want to be. But I did not really know who I wanted to be.
Okay.
So when I went to Accra Academy, my father told me, Sammy, you know this school thing, I don't know. I remember very well my daddy telling me, all I can do for you is to pray for you to make the right decisions. So I joined Accra Academy. I was part of the SU, and I had friends whose parents were well-to-do. I mean, they seemed to know how the world trends were going. So they were deciding that, look, my dad wants me to be an engineer, my dad wants me to be a doctor, and all those kind of things. So at a point, I fell in love a little with computer science, then engineering, and so that's how it moved on.
Okay. So at least at a point, something got you liking it. Like you got to know that you wanted to do something, and you discussed it with your dad.
No, 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 no. My dad was not. You see, my dad, whatever you tell him, he tell you, look, I don't understand. All I'll do is to pray for you. And I
Okay.
think that statement today is so profound. And I love it so much that he prayed for me.
Okay.
Maybe I would have gone astray if he had done a couple of things. The only thing I remember he told me was a friend advising him that instead of me going to a academy, go to I should go and learn how to paint.
Oh,
That I'll be a painter because the man was a painter. Then the man would teach me how to paint.
mm,
That day, I really felt sad for myself. Uh, my
okay,
dad,
boy.
I apparently my dad also um, purposed in his heart that whatever it would take him for any of his children to go to university, he was going to do. I think he was also tired of the yes sir master he was telling, saluting everybody. So he wanted one of his children, of course, to be up there, to be proud of, for him to be proud of. So he didn't want me to go to a technical school or do the painting thing, but he rather took me to academy.
Okay.
So that was why.
Okay. So now let's journey through. So after you got out of Accra Academy, and then what? You pursued
Yeah,
your career straight up.
no, um, based on my background, I did not have much option than to learn. Okay.
Okay.
Sometimes when you are from such bad, horrible backgrounds, you don't have any uncle to take to America. Our times were times when people were writing pen pals, and you
Yeah.
write them to send you a
Mm,
recorder and all sorts of things. And then if you're fortunate, you have an uncle somewhere, he'll send you $5, and that was huge money. I did not have any of those things. So my only option was to learn, learn, learn. Now, Form 3, we had to choose subjects. And our time, the best students did science.
Okay.
Unless your parents come in to push, that's all, look, I want my child to do business or arts. Otherwise, the best students, the first 40, 50, cut off science.
Okay. Okay.
And I was happy to be part of those who did science. And also because I saw some of my friends whose parents were well-to-do and they knew what they wanted their children to be doing science. So I said, okay, then I shouldn't be wrong doing science. So I did science because of that. By going to sixth form, I was still with a group of friends whose parents, one of them, the father was the managing director of a very big state-owned company. And the father was very strict. I said, look, I want you to do this and that and that. So kind of, and the guy was very, very intelligent. So I did science at Presec as well. It was after Presec that I got a bit, before the results, A-level results came in, I got a bit confused. So I wasn't sure what to do. I remember I chose Legon to do computer science. I chose KVAS to do computer science. I chose tech to do electrical engineering, and then to do engineering. And I had all of them. Then I became even much more confused.
I know, right?
At that point, I eliminated two, KVAS and Legon, and decided to do electrical engineering. I remember I applied, I confirmed my application. So my name was on the list, ready to go to tech to do electrical engineering. Then I got a scholarship also. The scholarship, we were supposed to leave some September. I prayed and I said, God, whichever one comes first. At this point, I want a scholarship because I wanted to ease the financial stress on my parents. Don't forget, my father by then was no more in the military, and they were going to serious financial, times. He had to take off me, take off Reverend Nicole then, and my sister. That point, she was with us in the preparatory school in Michoacan. But when we moved to Ashama, she was sacrificed to attend government school. Parents couldn't afford preparatory school at that time. Now, if I get scholarship and I leave the country, it will my siblings after me. So that was the primary reason I applied for the scholarship.
Okay.
Then I got a scholarship. We had to go, and they kept on postponing the date of our flight. Um, they postponed it from 1st September to 5th September, then to another date. And I remember we were supposed to leave the day after Bernard was born, one of the days. So at least I saw Bernard being born, then we were supposed to leave, then we were disappointed. Then Tech also postponed their date of admission to middle of September, then Tech again postponed it to October, 2nd October. Then the Russia one postponed it to the following week, 16th, then to 23rd September. The Russia postponed their trip. I said, God, whichever one comes first, I'm in your hands. I remember that prayer. I prayed and prayed and prayed and prayed. I wanted to go because of the financial, but also our time, and I said it is. Electrical engineering was the tops. And,
Yeah, it's still the top.
It's still the top.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the tops in the engineering sector. So going to electrical engineering alone meant huge, and there were a lot of opportunities those times. Unlike now that they have all the telecommunications, our time they put all of them under electrical engineering, so you could do a lot. So I prayed, and prayed, and then all of us then we're told finally the flight to Russia was going to 30th September. Now the admission to Tech was 2nd October. I said, oh God, if you want me to go to Russia, then let this 30th flight come on. If it doesn't come on, then it means you want me to stay in Ghana, period. I told my friends, Dr. Koto, the Collins, Don P, we were buddies then. So I told them, look, I have to travel. I want you guys to come and see me off. And I thank God, those times, Ashama was very, very far away from the airport. Very, very far. And that was my first time going to the airport. And I believe some of my friends, that was the first time they were also going to the airport. So we all went to the airport. I thought maybe they would disappoint, and all of a sudden I saw myself in the plane and I left the country. So that's how I ended up in Moscow. Otherwise, I would have been at Tech.
Okay, so I would have loved you to continue the story, but I think you should rather finish the story so that my questions will come in. So when you went to Moscow, it was a scholarship, so you had your accommodation, you had your tuition paid for, you had your feeding as well. What was the experience like being the first time you were visiting such a country?
It was great. I must tell you, coming from a Sherman and eating maybe 1.5 times a day, and going to a place where they feed you morning, afternoon, evening was a little heaven. Okay.
Wow.
We went with I met some mates, not my mates, but we became friends on flights. A couple of friends who also had a scholarship, so we obviously became friends on flights. We went to the same university, so we were together as Ghanaians. And outside Ghana, we don't have this tribal thing. I mean, Akan, Ashanti, and those stuff. Outside Ghana, everybody's a Ghanaian, and we are one. So there, we're really, really one. We're together, doing everything together. So it was good. It was, I must say that the best part of my life
Mm-hmm.
has
Was in Moscow.
been was in Moscow.
I
Seriously.
see.
Now I have too many responsibilities, too many things to think about. But as a student, you have very little to think about. You have food to
Okay.
eat. You have everything there. So
Mm,
that was my best time.
I see. That's nice. So, did you have this discrimination, as at then, where I haven't been anywhere outside Ghana, but I know that when you go outside, sometimes that this color discrimination kind of thing. Did you suffer that?
Um, the first 5 years, no.
Okay.
The first 5 years, no, a little bit, but we ignored it. We ignored it. The first 5 years, no, because my university is called Russian Friendship University.
Mm-hmm.
It used to be called Patrice Lumumba University, named
Okay.
after Patrice Lumumba, the
Yeah.
Congolese Patrice Lumumba,
Okay. Okay.
who fought and all that. Okay,
Okay.
so it's a university made of so many international students. In
Okay.
fact, Russians were the minority.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So once the Russians were the minority, we did not face that kind of discrimination. It's maybe on the street, they might not have seen a black before, and even that one, they want to approach you because they want to talk to a black, not necessarily to discriminate. Okay. Then a little bit of it when we went to first year university, when first year, okay, when you go, you do languages. So we don't call that the first year, we call it preparatory. You do
Okay.
languages, the Russian language, and they do language in your profession. You need to know all the terms in your profession before you really start the course.
Okay.
But first year, you have other Russians joining you to do the courses.
Okay.
Obviously, from first year, they straight in Russian language, no English.
Mm,
The lecturers don't speak English, so they just speak raw French. I mean, raw Russian English.
Russian.
You kind of you're still learning the language, so you find a bit difficult in just grabbing everything.
Okay.
So you want to talk to the Russians to teach you one or two things, and then they think they are superior, they know better. That's the point you see some of them trying to look down on. But by the time we passed the first semester, uh, we were way, way better than them academically. So when we went to second year, they had to see us for us to be teaching them. And from second year to we completed, we ended up being consultants and they were coming to us. So we did not, in my school,
See,
personally, I did not feel much of
discrimination.
the I didn't feel much of it
Discrimination.
in the school. But
Okay.
getting to the end of 1997, 98, that was when, Russia at the time, we had Gorbachev coming in, then we had Boris Yeltsin, then we have
Okay.
then we have Putin.
Okay.
Putin came in just before I left Russia. Okay,
Okay.
so the period of Boris Yeltsin,
Mhm.
I think he didn't rule very well, and there was a few young guys who were misbehaving, so they created a bit of problem, but that was it.
Okay. But how long did you stay in Russia? Because you are talking about first 5 years.
No, I was in Russia for wait, yes, 7 years, 91 to 98.
Okay, so 7 years. Your first 5 years, you were in school. Is that it?
No, all, no, no, no.
All
I was
through
in
the
school.
seven.
All the seven. The first year was part fact, we call it preparatory. Then 4 years
Okay.
BSc, then
Okay.
2 years
Five.
masters. So
Okay.
it's total of 7 years.
7 years. Okay. That's nice. So after the whole program for your masters, then you came back to Ghana.
Yes.
So let's continue the story. You landed in Ghana and what? Because that was your dream to go outside, better yourself, and come and be of a help to your family. So now when you came back, How did the story go?
When I came back, sincerely, I didn't want to come back.
Okay.
Okay? Mhm. No, the issue is this. I see the poverty was so bad. You still felt coming back, you're going to be in the same position, and it will take you so long for you to come out of it yourself before you can help the family.
Okay.
So I tried and I applied to a couple of universities in Canada where I had admissions, and I got someone who wanted to sponsor me to do my PhD in Canada. The idea was going to Canada to do my PhD whilst working will grant me a bit more money so that I'll be able to support my family. I mean, my family at home. Um, but I went to the embassy and they said everything was okay. They were going to grant me the visa, except that I needed to do some medicals. And the medical would exceed, I needed to wait for 14 days and my visa will expire. So I should go to my university, extend my visa, my stay in Moscow, for them to grant me the visa to go to Canada.
Okay.
And I opted to come to Ghana for the visa because I didn't want to extend my stay as well. And so they gave me all the documents and they wrote everything in it that they've gone through it. Everything okay. So Ghana, Canada embassy, Ghana, Canada embassy in Ghana should just grant me the visa because I should just go.
Okay.
I came and they refused me the visa. And sincerely, I thank God they refused me. At that point, I was devastated, disappointed. I was asking God why and everything. I shouldn't have come back. I should have extended my stay. It was easy to extend your stay also in Moscow. But I was asking God so many questions. But I was back in Ghana. I couldn't go back to Russia to change it. And then, so I decided to look for a job. Then
Okay.
I applied to several companies, got Trasaco. They interviewed me. They asked me when I wanted to start work. It was a Thursday, and I said, "Oh, I want to start Friday."
Okay.
Ready.
The next day.
They also asked me, "How much do you want to be paid?" I said, "Pay?" I didn't even know. I knew I was supposed to be paid, but
You
salary
didn't know how
was
much.
very, very secondary. Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you. Sorry.
Yeah, salary was very secondary to me. I just
Okay.
wanted to work to gain experience.
Wow.
So I told them they should just pay me any amount. Anything they want to pay me, I'm for it.
Okay.
And they said, no, I should mention something.
An amount.
And I remember the money I mentioned was so small
Oh, yeah.
that my boss told me what I've mentioned is so small. But because I have mentioned it, he will pay me that amount. But if I come in and I prove myself, well, he's going to pay me more. So I joined Trasaco a week after, only to know that my salary was equal to a laborer's pay as an engineer. But well, I did not stop. I kept on working. And in fact, the first 6 months, I was on 6 month probation.
Okay.
I really worked hard, killed myself for the company. 6 months. And my boss really dealt with me, insulted me, blasted me. I was good for nothing because I was novice, coming from a Christian background and Christian, you don't know how to be strong, you don't know how to take some decisions, you don't know how to punish, you don't know how to do so many things. So
Okay.
much as I was working very hard, I didn't know how to manage.
Okay.
So this man taught me, and the only way he could teach me was to punish me by deducting money from my small salary. So for a long time, I never received full salary. So I resigned from TOSAP. I just wrote a letter and I resigned. And I gave them 7 days notice. The last day, the man came and called me and said he doesn't want me to go. He thinks I'm good for the job and I can be somebody in future. And I gave him conditions that if only one, you stop deducting money from my salary, you stop insulting me, then I'm ready to stay. And then he told me bluntly that, look, do you know something? I will not stop insulting you. I will not stop deducting money from your pay, but I would rather increase your pay.
Okay.
I'll increase your pay for you. If you mess up, I will deduct money from your pay. If you mess up, I will insult you and disgrace you. So go, don't mess up. I left, I took the money, and in fact, he increased my pay by 3 times. He multiplied my pay by 3 times. So at
Okay.
that point, now I was being paid well.
Yeah, okay.
Then I stayed in the job, but he kept on punishing me. He did
Okay.
that for a very, very long time. He kept on punishing me. After 1.5 years, I resigned again for the same reason. Then he called me and he said, no, he thinks I can support him to build a company. I was doing very well, but he's been teaching me something all this time, but I was still
You're
not
not
learning.
getting.
It looks as if um, I was too cool for the job I was doing. I asked him why. He said, no. You see, the only reason why he punished me was because I wasn't punishing the people who were going wrong. I was forgiving everybody instead of punishing them. If I were
Okay.
to be punishing the people who were really going wrong, I would never be punished.
And that
And
was
that was
after how many years? How
after one
many
and a half,
years? Okay,
one
so
and a half.
from the start of your work to 1.5 years, that's where
Yes.
we are now.
Yes.
Okay.
So so then I started doing the right thing. If you
Okay.
whoever goes wrong, that
You
person
punished.
has to be punished.
Okay.
And I took out the job as if it was my company, and I did it very well until they kept on increasing my salary. And at a point, I told them again I was leaving the company. At that point, they told me, no, no, no. At this point, you are too good to leave. So we will consider you as an expert. We pay you in dollars. We pay blah blah blah. They did so many things for me. Then I was very comfortable. Then I stayed on, and I
Was
kept
it
on.
a strategy you were using or you genuinely wanted to go?
On 2 occasions, I genuinely wanted to go. The 6 months one, that was when the national service postings had come out.
Okay.
And so I knew I was posted to Bema Camp Engineering Services Department. So I knew leaving that place, I would go and then I would be doing my national service.
Okay.
But when I stayed there, I went and changed to Trasaco. So I stayed on. The 1.5 years after I got a job, I went for an interview somewhere else. And you don't leave job just like that.
Yeah, of course.
You make sure you have a backup before you leave a job. Okay.
I hear you, sir.
So I got a job somewhere, another a construction company. Then I came in and put in my resignation letter. And then my boss called me and told me that no, he doesn't want me to go, but these are the things he wants me to do. And I did them. And then he said, then he told me I should go and think about my salary, what I want, and everything. Then we can negotiate. We sat on it, and I came back and I told him, well, I think I'm not better. The experts are not better than me, so I want to be an expert staff. Expert salaries are in dollars, so I want to take dollars. I want to do this. I want to fly out to the country. They fly out to the country every year. So you remember some time ago I went to Russia to visit. Yes, it was on a ticket of Trasaco. They bought it for me to go and visit because I was considered an expert staff. So my boss asked me, but all the expatriates, they travel to their hometown.
Okay.
But where are you traveling to? Where are you sitting in a plane to? Are you sitting in a plane to go to Pong or you are sitting in a plane to Kema? And I told you, I decide my hometown. So
Okay.
I told them my hometown was Moscow. So I'm going back to hometown. So I went to Moscow for one night, came back and I went to them. So it was
Okay.
good.
I see. Okay, so you worked with Trasaco for how long?
5.5 years.
Okay, so after 5.5 years, what happened? You finally decided to go out now.
No, it wasn't that easy. It wasn't that
Okay.
easy.
Okay.
Look, I was very comfortable in Trasaco.
Okay.
I had a car, a house, just married. I was building. I was doing so many things. I had money in my accounts. I didn't. I mean, my wedding was the money we spent on our wedding was nothing. Just after the wedding, I bought a car for my wife. So I was too comfortable to leave. I'm on my, I was too comfortable to leave. And Tosako apparently got to know that other companies wanted to poach me. So they came to see me to sit down to negotiate my term. This time they wanted to sign a 10-year contract with me.
I see.
So they came in, brought a contract to sign 10 years. And in the contract, they earlier on said they were going to give me one of the big Tosako houses if I work with them for 10 years.
Okay.
So I was happy. I mean, those times, those houses were costing $500,000. So I said, oh, okay. If it's 10 years of my life, and I was 30 something years old, so it's not a big deal. I'd rather stay and get a house. And then a couple of things they wanted to do for me, and they were all good. Everything just to make sure I stayed in Trosaco. But when the contract came for me to sign, they eliminated some of the things they told me orally. And I told them, look, if you don't put them in it, I'm not going to sign. So it went back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And one thing led to another, and I got angry. And then I just decided I want to leave Trosaco, period. So I left Trosaco. It was not an easy decision. But at that point, I was leaving Trosaco, going nowhere to start on my own. And it was not an easy decision at all. I needed to be, it was not an easy one at all. But I then decided to leave Trosaco. So that's how I left Trosaco.
So I'm enjoying the story. Um, please, you are welcome. I just forgot I didn't tell you we are on YouTube, so you can join in on YouTube. Those of you who missed the initial part of our story, you can wait and later enjoy it on YouTube. But Reverend Question, let's quickly see when Elegant Homes came in. I'm always interested in the starting of the story because that looks like the most difficult aspect. So now you didn't know where you were going from Trasaco, but you left. And then when did Elegant Homes come in? When was it birthed?
I left Trosaco February and registered Elegant Homes in May. And that's when it
Okay.
was started.
Okay.
So it wasn't easy. I left Trosaco. We're living in apartment, Trosaco apartment, everything. So once you're living Trosaco, you have to leave the apartment and everything. So, and because of the way I was living, I wasn't happy with them and the way they behaved. So my wife was then pregnant for our second child, heavily pregnant. So she had to go and stay with her parents. And I came back to Sherman to live with my mom. And look, I saved lots of money. Okay, I saved money. Throughout these times, I had enough money to do a lot of things. I could have bought a brand new car, bought so many things for myself, those flashy things for people to see and everything, but I didn't do those things.
Okay.
So when I left Trosaco, the first thing was to get a house. So we bought an uncompleted house and we managed it somehow and we moved into it. Then the rest of the money I invested it in the construction sector.
Okay.
So that's how Elegant Homes grew.
Okay, that was rather a brief one. Okay, so um, Elegance Home started as a means of continuing your life. Is that it?
Yes,
You didn't have it in mind when you were still in Trazaco. You weren't the way sometimes you can brood over a dream, nurture it gradually, then one day you launch into it. It didn't happen like that.
no, 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 no. Let me see. Um I never ever thought, I never ever thought I was going to be an entrepreneur in my life.
Okay.
I never
Okay.
ever thought I was going to be a businessman in my life. I just thought just going to school, being employed as an engineer, um, just being elevated in the area of engineering, becoming a boss in engineering was all to life.
Okay.
I never ever thought I was going to own my own company. Just Elegant Home started by default when I left Trosaco. I had nothing doing. A few companies wanted to employ me,
Okay.
But for some reason, I felt strongly I should start Elegant Homes and do something. And yet, we didn't have anything to do. So I went to look for subcontracts.
Okay.
Subcontracts means, big companies get the big jobs, and then they give small, small pieces of it to small, small companies. So my first job, I went to ACP Estate. They gave me some houses there to build. And by God's grace, we did very, very well. Within record time, we completed all the 3 houses, and we did them very, very well. And then we got another job through somebody, a worker, who I fired at Trasaco. But the way I fired him, he came to like me. I fired him and then still blessed him with some money for transport to go home.
I see. Okay.
So when his auntie wanted to build, he told the uncle there was only one engineer who could do that job. So they called me, went in, and I built a hotel. And those are the things that really turned Elegant Homes around.
Okay. So then Elegant Home was birthed, and then today, how old is Elegant Homes anyway?
2004, so Elegant
Okay.
Homes,
So
16
that's
years.
about okay. Okay.
But
So
it's not been,
guys,
wait, hold on, it's not been easy with Elegant Homes. When we left Trasaco, I told you I bought a car for my wife.
yes.
That was the only car we had. So that car became my car. It was her car. She was using it, but we didn't have any other car. I could have bought another car, but we wanted to invest the money. So we used one car. I could drop her, use the car. The car was my office. I was the secretary, I was the MD, I was everything.
Everything. Yeah.
I was supervising, I was the engineer, doing everything.
Mm-hmm.
We used the car for, I think, 2 years before, 4 years before we got another car. So it has not been easy with us.
I know, right? I know. But you see, for the sake of time, I want us to just come back a bit. We are going to talk to Reverend Kwashi. For those of you who are now joining, we are talking, our guest tonight is Reverend Kwashi. We've been having a very interesting conversation. I know most of you want to know all the struggles he went through in Elegant Homes and all of that. But you see, our time is already far spent. So we want to come back a bit and then ask him certain questions, okay, about how he maneuvered his way through the challenges that came his way. I know we are interested in the stories too, but we want to just know how the mechanisms he used, things that he will say that, hey, when you use this, it will work for you. We want to look at those things. So I want to find a Reverend question. If you come back now as a teenager, as a young boy, what are some of the things you would do better than you ever did and less, than you did?
I must be honest with you.
Mm.
I would thank God for my parents. No other parents than the same parents. I will still thank God for the hall and chamber that we lived in. 5 children, father and mother. And all those things actually built us and me up to take some decisions that I've taken today. Okay. So I have no regrets for the preparatory school I went to, for the parents I have no regrets for attending a academy preset. No, I don't have regrets at all. And they rather built me to be very focused.
Wow.
Now, I've told my wife a couple of times that if I knew what I would be when I was in Moscow, I probably would have taken some decisions which wouldn't have helped me to be who I am now.
Okay, come again.
Please explain.
Please explain.
I told you, hall and chamber, I left to Russia. Poverty made me to go to Russia. Okay. No, there are nice ladies there. I was in the club.
Hey, you were singing.
I was a leader of the choir.
Oh my God.
Good voice.
Oh my God.
you know, and we had friends, Russian ladies, beautiful ones in the choir. And you had African ladies, beautiful ones in there. What constrained me from proposing was the fact that I didn't want to bring any of them to the horrible situation at Sham.
Okay. Okay.
So that I felt that no, they deserve something better. So let
Okay.
me not give them any of them.
Okay.
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 So that helped. That really helped me.
Okay.
Otherwise, I would have missed my beautiful wife. You get my
Okay.
point? I would have gone astray, and who knows what any of those ladies would have done to me by now. You know, yeah, the wife can build and the wife can destroy. Okay, and I remember let me share this. Um, there was this beautiful lady, Congolese lady
Okay.
in the choir, very beautiful, and she was fan of me, kind of, but I really liked her.
Okay.
I really liked her, but strictly spiritual. I hope you understand.
No, I don't understand.
Spiritual. What I mean is that nothing to play hide and seek, nothing,
Ah,
nothing,
you
nothing
liked her, but really spiritual. Is
spiritual.
that what you're
No, what
saying?
I mean is that I wish I could marry her. I never did anything negative with her.
Okay, I get it now.
I
I
hope you
get it.
get my point.
I get you.
And at a point, she noticed that I admired her so much.
Okay.
So she told me, Brasam, the way we are, if you are thinking of marriage, then forget it. Because
Okay.
I don't want to go to Ghana.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. And it broke my heart.
Oh,
But then
Congo ladies.
I thank God she broke my heart.
I know,
Okay.
right?
So all the brothers that some sisters are breaking your heart, tomorrow you will thank God that they broke your heart. You get
And vice versa, oh, Uncle Sam, don't
and
leave it
Amen,
out.
amen. We like that one. We like that one.
And vice versa, guys.
and to
And
the
vice
sisters
versa.
also, and to the sisters also.
Mm-hmm.
If a brother is breaking your heart, don't worry. I mean, you get a man better,
Uh-huh.
the one who will suit you and the one who really take you to your destination, you know. So don't be worried about the
I
heartbreak
hear
and
you.
things.
I
Don't
hear
live
you.
over them for long.
It's part of the process, eh?
It's the part of the process, and the process to tell you that there's a better person ahead, you know.
I hear
So
you.
again, I have no regrets for the decisions I took. Because some of the, if I didn't take him, then if I'm to go back now, I'm sure I would mess up. If God is to repeat, if God is to take me back to maybe class 5 or secondary school, and I want to correct, I'm sure I'll mess up. I will not be the way I am now. No, I'll mess up. So I have no regrets. Maybe what I should have done more to pray more, you know. But even in university, I still don't have regrets for. We had every Friday all night, and I don't have regrets for joining that group. Because one thing that helped us was it took us away from the world. With these
Okay.
all nights and church activities, it took us away. Look, summer in Moscow at our time was really, ladies were half naked. And I remember those times we could pray and fast to endure summer. Winter, you cover yourself, so you don't see anything. But in summer, they are half naked and ready to show off everything, you know. So we were praying and fasting to endure summer. You know, so yes, we went through it and we thank God. Everything went well.
I see. Now, so let's. You mentioned briefly some of the things that helped you. One thing was prayer that helped you. I remember you said your father would say that all that he can do for you is to pray for you so you make the right decisions. So I know prayers helped you. What were some of the other things that really helped you?
I've already said the lifestyle of my parents. Okay, let me put it this way. My dad was a kind of a good role model for me.
Okay,
Okay?
okay, okay.
He was very humble, extremely humble. And look, it's not because Bishop is on the platform that I'm saying. If you've noticed, Bishop is very humble.
Yeah, Bishop.
and I'm not lying. Okay,
Oh, yes.
okay, and the truth is that if Bishop, let me say, if Bishop were to be some other pastors
Hmm.
with all kind of pride in them, they
Mhm.
probably would have lost some people like me.
Yeah,
I don't know if you understand that.
I do. I
Yeah, yeah.
do.
You know, he's so humble and it works well.
And me too.
So, so
Hey,
we learn from such. Pardon?
And me too.
that was.
You would have lost me too.
Oh, exactly. And I'm sure a lot of people would have left. You
Thank
know,
you, Uncle
you see,
Ben.
there are so many reasons why some churches may not be prospering as we are. I'm talking about single one-man churches. I hope you get my point right. You know, we
I
have the
do.
established assemblies of God, and those are different. But when it comes to a shine man and take the one-man churches, you know, when the pastor is proud, it doesn't help the congregation to grow. And in
Okay.
our case, we're blessed to have a very humble pastor, and that alone is enough to work with him. In
Okay.
fact, you must lie to leave the church. I
Must
don't know whether
lie.
no, you must tell a lie that the church is
Yeah.
somewhere, the church is this, and you must find a reason, negative reason,
Mm.
to leave the church.
Wow.
I know.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
So it's really it's not because it's on a platform. Okay, maybe you can move
Okay.
him and take him off from it.
Oh no.
But that is the gospel truth,
Hmm.
you know. And I've seen a lot of pastors the way they carry themselves. Um, it will be difficult for them to attract certain category of people if they don't humble themselves. So the other thing is Bishop, my father, and others who helped me to humble myself because humility pays, and God blesses the humble.
Humility pays and God blesses the humble. God uplifts the humble. So that was a word right there. Bishop, I know you are listening and are smiling. I can see Mama Angie. Mama Angie, I can see you.
Social distancing.
There's no social distancing with husband and wife, please, Inspector. When you marry, you start preaching social distance. Okay, so now I have one question here. Apart from the people that helped you, their humility made you to stick to what you were doing, helped you to focus. I want to find out, did you get to a point where you felt you were disappointed by God? It's not even man, but God has disappointed you. Did you have that kind of situation?
Philly, I just told you when I was refused the visa to go to Canada.
Okay. You
I thought
okay?
that was the end.
God has disappointed you in this one.
God, God had disappointed me. God was not fair to me.
I
Which
know,
he
right?
told me after all the prayer and fastings I did in Russia, after all the evangelism, and after all that we did there, and after the fact that they told me from in Russia that I was going to get a visa, God should have stopped me from coming to Ghana.
Mm-hmm.
I went through very serious time of disappointment, and I felt God had seriously disappointed me. But I picked it up very fast, looked for a job, and I moved on. And that's it.
Okay. I know that it didn't happen that it didn't come as you are saying it now. Um, I want you to help us know how you overcame that. Did you just brush it off? Okay, God has disappointed me. It's okay. He's like that. Or oh God, let your will. I mean, how did you go about it?
You see, with some of these things, you don't pray for God's will, oh, you pray for your will.
I see. I don't understand.
You see, when you've planned your life and you want God to fit in, you are careful not to mention God, let your will be done.
Okay.
You pray, this is what I want in the name of Jesus, amen. You don't add,
Okay.
nevertheless, but let your will be done. Because
Okay.
it's like it must be option one or no other.
Okay.
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 So in my case, there was no other option but that one. So
Okay.
my prayer and everything was about going to get it, and that was it. I remember I even appealed, and even the appeal was even, we didn't even look at it. Okay, so that was it. So it was really very, very hurting.
Mm-hmm.
I went through it for a period of 2 weeks.
Okay.
Then I, as time went on with prayer, it's kind of it was dimming, and I got a job with Trasaco. Whilst with Trasaco, I still felt that there could be a way out.
Mm.
Trying some few meals and things, if I could go back to Russia or see what I could do. But after some time, I just give up on it.
Okay. That's interesting. So when something like that, like a disappointment like that happens, and you are like, you are disappointed in God, how does it affect your next request for something from God? Did it affect it? Did it make it like, you see, this thing I asked you, God, you didn't do it, and I'm going to ask you this one too. Did it occur to you that God will do it or will not do it, kind of? Did it
No,
affect your relationship?
it did not affect my relationship with God, but it changed my prayer. Then I started adding, "Let your will be done."
Okay, I get it. I get it
So
now.
you see, when I mean, look, this Canada thing was planned somewhere January. I completed in June. Then I submitted my documents to the embassy end of July. Okay, and I needed actually 4 weeks. I didn't know before.
Okay.
I thought 2 days I
Okay.
could get it. I needed 4 weeks, and I had only 3 weeks. So just one extra week was what I needed for me to
Okay.
grant to get a visa. And so a lot went into it.
Okay.
And the prayer, like I told you, was just Canada,
One.
here I come. PhD, here I come. I would have been a doctor by now, Doctor something, Kwashi, and blah, blah, blah,
Okay.
and all those things. But I was disappointed, yes. But when I got a job, I moved on. So at that point, when I was disappointed, and it became, God, let your will be done. I'm now, so I just wrote a lot of application letters, posted them, and I said, God, let your will be done. Then I received a phone call from Trasaco for an interview, and that was it. And of all the letters I wrote, only Trasaco called me, and that was the only job I got.
I
So you
see.
see how targeted God was. God
Yeah.
really knew where He wanted me to be. There was no need to be thinking about other places. Just one place, and that was all.
I see. Ah, that's interesting. Guys, it's already 7:04. Reverend Sami, please, you can take in a sip of water now. Let me give you a bit of space to relax a little. Now, guys, you need to keep your questions coming. I think I've seen a few questions coming through. So I want to see if I haven't asked them, so I could ask them for you. But then I hope we've learned a lot tonight. It's because of time. And yes, Anka, we'll be here, sir. We'll be talking to Reverend Kwashi for so long. But we are time bound, so we have to quickly start wrapping up. Okay. There are a few questions here. I've had somebody said, "Hello everyone, what did I miss?" Please, you can go to YouTube and get all that you missed. We have somebody saying, "Yes, you missed the whole trip." Okay, that was somebody answering the earlier question. What did you do wrong? What warranted the punishment? Were they justified? Okay, I think that was when he was saying that his boss wanted him to punish those who went wrong, but then he was too lenient on them. So his boss wanted to teach him how to punish or to put people right. From the onset, you were being punished for being so soft, but along the line, you became hard on Trasaco. What changed? Um, my team, did you get that question? Is that a question? It said,
Yeah,
from the onset, you were being punished for being so soft, but along the line, you became hard on Trasaco. You became hard on Trasaco. What changed? Okay, Reverend Kwashi, there's a question here. Somebody wanted to know um, what changed you from being so soft on your colleagues, Did you get tired of the punishment you were having on their behalf, or what really happened?
I think God was also building me up in Tobacco for my own business. But at the time, I didn't know I was going to even start my own business.
Okay.
I just took Trasaco as my company and I was just doing it. Now, I was being punished for not punishing the people who go wrong. Then, when my boss spoke to me and told me, look, if you punish them, I will not punish you, because if I punish you, it becomes double punishment for one offense. So
Okay.
just do it as if I'm here.
Okay.
In other words, so my boss left everything. He said, look, do it as if you are the boss of the company, punish them when they go wrong. And I started doing that. So if you are an engineer and you go wrong, I punish you. If you come to work late, I punish you. If you waste materials, I punish you. If you steal, I sack you. I did all those things. And at a point, people even thought I had shares, or I was part of the owners of Trasaco. I just did it and did it. And when I was leaving Trasaco, they didn't want me to leave. They did not want me to leave because I was playing so much role for them. But at that point, I wanted to leave. So that's how I left.
Okay, so I hope you've been answered. So at a point, he took ownership, okay, and then he decided to run things. But Reverend Kwashi, initially when you were not punishing the people, is it that you thought your boss should punish them, or what was your reason for not punishing? You were afraid they. I mean, I don't get it. If somebody goes wrong, I think what the person deserves is punishment.
No. You see, when from setting back, you see, construction is a very tough area. Construction is a bit different from many industries, like the banking, where you can just smile and it will work.
Okay.
Construction, the boys are very stubborn.
Okay.
The boys are thieves. Sorry, some of them are thieves. The boys are, they have all sort of, construction is for rough people.
Okay.
So they will do everything just to get away with it.
Okay.
Now, for instance, somebody's supposed to go for 1 pound of nails to do a job. Then he goes into right for 5 pounds, pockets the rest, and wants to run away with them. Meanwhile, he's supposed to have gone for 1 pound. Those times after school, you are lenient. Don't do that again. And don't do that again. Just put it back. Don't do that again. We don't do that in construction. Construction, once you get it, you punish the person, you sack the person. The other people will learn from it.
Okay.
The thing is, if you have 200 workers and you are going to be forgiving everyone, then be expecting that you're going to lose a lot. Let me give a typical example. Time is gone. In fact, this one, it applies to my own company. Someone stole a cable, and I got the police to arrest him. He was put in cells for 2 days.
Okay.
And whilst I was in church, somebody called me that they are begging me to release the person. So I was in church. In fact, that day I was supposed to be preaching. Then I received a call. Oh, Master Yapacho, release the Ebani Then I told them, go there, Mayankasa in 2 hours' time. Okay, after 2 hours, they called and I told them tomorrow. Of course, I released the person, but I wanted the others to know that I am capable of putting you in cell or even taking you to court. There was a time I took one of my workers to court and he was in prison for 5 years. Okay, when you do such things, the whole atmosphere is that, look, you can be in prison when you do wrong. But when you forgive, then they'll know that even if I do it, I'll be forgiven. So let me just do it anyway. Okay. If someone gets to work late 5 minutes and you forgive the person, and you have 100 workers and they all come to work 5 minutes late, it means 5 times 100, 500 minutes of company time wasted. But when you punish one person, the others will sit up and do the right thing. And that was what my boss was teaching me. And I was too lenient, praying, fasting in tongues to forgive. Okay. But in construction, it's not like that.
Okay. I still don't understand why you found it awkward to punish? Was it because you think it was too strict, or what? Or you thought you could pray it away?
It was, I felt, coming from school fresh. You are not new, you are new to all these things. So you feel talking to the person will be enough.
Oof, okay.
It was awkward.
Okay.
And you should learn to forgive and forget.
Okay. That was the mentality, right? But that's not a business principle,
No,
right?
it's not a business principle at all.
Okay. So somebody says that's from Faustina Kwenote. She says, "Wow, so we can confidently say all things work together for good for them who love God." Trasaco Elegant Homes, one family car. mm, Not in a hurry to show off. Okay, so that was just a compliment on something you said about buying just one car. You didn't want to show off. Somebody said, "Good question, host." Thank you, Derek. I see you. Somebody says, "I totally agree. No regrets." Okay. Um, only lessons learned. I don't get that. Sinam. Only lessons learned. You can come again if it's a question you want to ask. Okay. Somebody said, "Tell us about the ladies." No. Okay, so he did that. Somebody said, "That's my mentor. I just love this man." That's from Vicentia Day. So Reverend Kwashi, that's for you. Somebody is making your head sweet you somewhere. That's Vicentia Day.
Mama
She's
Vicentia,
feeling
God bless
you.
you.
Somebody said, "I feel you, Reverend." That's from Enoch Ja. Also for Enoch. Okay. Oh, Esna, why are you doing Auntie Dolly Dolly? Why? Big Abs host. Oh, thank you. Calvin, I see you. I see you. The wife can build and the wife can destroy. I wish we could go into that a little, but we don't have enough time.
Hey.
Oh no. Oh, somebody's doing age. Why? I just
Ah,
wanted to be sure. I just wanted him to
no.
say a bit on that. But it's okay. Since you don't want to hear more, I'll see him behind closed doors and hear it all by myself.
Okay.
Okay, Derek says, "I told you, Derek." Okay,
A lot too.
okay. All right, so guys, keep your questions coming. I can't see any more questions unless I'm missing out. But if I've just kept your question, you can just bring it in again, and then I would quickly ask him for you. But if you, whilst we are waiting on that, I want to still engage our guests in a conversation. Reverend Kwashi, please, whilst we are looking out for more questions, I want to find out. I know you have a heart for young people, so I want you to use the few minutes we have to just pour out your heart. Are there things that the youth should look out for now? What are we doing wrong? What are the things that we have taken for granted? I want you to just highlight some of these few things so that we can awaken from our slumber, please.
Okay, I want to start by saying that some of you youth are on the right course.
Okay.
Okay, you are doing the
Yeah.
right things,
Thank you.
and they are not different from what we did. Some of you, I'm saying some. Okay,
Okay.
we many of you, you learned hard in school. You did what you're supposed to do. You are very respectful. You are doing all that, and we applaud you for all that. You are doing very well. So continue on, and God will bless you. You see, some of these things, when we're doing that, we didn't even know that God is going to take us this far. In fact, sometimes I sit down and reflect, and I say, I had no idea, absolutely no idea where I am now. I never ever dreamt where I am now. There was a time something happened, and we there was the bank needed something called net worth. When you are doing some things, they need that information. And when myself and my wife, we prepared it, we looked at it and said, we could not believe it ourselves, what God could do for us. Okay. And we didn't do anything different from what some of you are doing. The prayer meetings, waiting on God, and be hardworking. And I want to stress on the hard working. Now, the other side are some of you who are taking life too easy. And you think that is it. Life, God planned the world. The Bible tells that he built heaven and earth. The Bible also said God did not create human being first. God planned it. In other words, God is a strategic manager. He built the world. He made sure he had water. He brought the light. He brought the sea. He brought everything ready for man to live in it before he created human being. So there's nobody better than God when it comes to strategy. So we need to strategize and work and allow God to work with us. We cannot just be living our lives anyhow. The question you should be asking yourself, the state you find yourself now, how will it be in 5 years' time, in 10 years' time? Now you are single. In 5 years' time, you should be married or you should be somewhere else. How do you want to be? How do you still want to continue living with your parents, eating small things, or you want to be working somewhere? And if you want to work somewhere, then you've got to work towards it. You need to work hard. I also believe that you can start your own company, but I would advise you to work for other companies before you start your own. Because there's enormous experiences you can get from other places that will help you to build yours. In my case, there's no way, and I want to put on record, I could have done what I'm doing now if I hadn't joined Tresa. Okay. Now, the kind of management I got, the management style, and the management model, a lot of things I learned from Trasaco. I mean, now by God's grace, we have Elegant Homes Construction Company. We have Elegant Home Products Limited. Trasaco also had a lot of companies. They had Trasaco, they had Empire Builders, they had Royal Aluminium, they had Timbers. They had so many. Why did the man do that? He wanted his own companies to feed, to relate to each other, to supply to themselves. Okay. And I learned that model from Trasaco. So when I started products, I make sure product fits me. How could I have done that if I didn't join Trasaco as a laborer, to be cheated, to be beaten, and to be insulted? So if you join a company and they are even cheating you, I mean, it is just a means. Go and serve. You know, there are two things. They are paying you, okay, and you are gaining experience. So allow the experience to override the money you are making. If there's somebody who finishes university 1 year and he wants to be paid so much, no, and it's pathetic. You can't be paid that much. No, it's not possible. You are too young. You're supposed to be a trainee. They are now teaching you. So don't be expecting to be driving from day one. But for the youth of today, they want everything now. Wait and be trained. In fact, go through the process. When you go through the process and you are trained, a time will come, you know it. Okay, even now, today, Elegant Homes, I still get people who come to me for consultation. You get my point, right? Others also come, they are engineers, but they consult from me because there's something I learned from Trasaco they didn't learn wherever they went to. So wait and go through the process. I already told you, for a long period, I wasn't paid full salary. But I endured it. I didn't like it. I hated it. At some point, I resigned, but thank God I didn't leave. Okay? And they all taught me enormous lessons, enormous. So please, even if you want to start your own company, go through that process of training. Thank you.
Go through that process of training. For those of us who are thinking of starting something on our own and we are too much in a hurry to do that, I think we have answers. Inspire is here to give us clues as to how we can go about our own dilemmas in our mind. So I hope tonight we are getting some clarity. So let me be sure there are no more questions. I still want to engage him. Since you don't want
Feel
to,
free,
I want.
feel free.
Somebody said, Kira, what did I say that you are saying? Hey, Felicia. Okay. Okay. So our guest has just told us a few things that young people are doing wrong. And I think if I got him right, one of the things he talked about was the fact that we are in too much of a hurry to get things done. We don't want to go through the process. So please let's get it right. I want to find out from our guest. Now, um, somebody has a dream. He or she is nurturing the dream, but going through the process. At what point in time do you suggest to the person that you see you have taken enough, now take the step? Because I think that if you are not too careful, you can actually be marking time. If I'm not mistaken, is it possible that somebody can actually be marking time in the name of gaining experience or being too scared to take that bold step of starting something new?
Yeah, I feel it's very possible,
Mm,
but again, it's still not. You don't need to be in a hurry. Allow God to work with you. I still believe. Now, throwing back, I still believe that my time of leaving Trasaco was just the right time. I earlier told you that I was comfortable. I was extremely comfortable. Nothing, I mean, everything was okay for me. In fact, at the time of leaving, I was not even ready to leave. Okay. And 2 weeks or a week before, I was not even ready to leave. I hope you get my point right.
yes.
But because I was comfortable, and sometimes when you're in your comfort zone, it's difficult for you to move. And there
Okay.
must be an external force to move you out. I think all that happened at that particular time was an external force
Okay.
to move me out to do what I wanted to do. Because I mean, look, if they had given me one of Trasaco houses, okay, at that time it was like $500,000. Today that house is about $1 million, okay, or more than $1 million. I mean, that would have been the only thing I would have had for all these years. But today, thank God, it's something else. I hope you get my point.
I
So I
do.
needed an external force. So sometimes pray, 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 do the right things,
Okay.
and there can be an external force to move you out of the place. Either the people around you, you begin all of a sudden you don't want to, you're not comfortable with the job, you're not happy with the job, something else is happening, then people want to report you for nothing. Then on that basis, you are getting frustrated. Then you use that to leave the place.
Okay.
Okay. At that point, you blame somebody else for the problem. Okay. But when God begins to unveil more things to you after you've left, you remember
I understand.
that that was what actually moved you from that place. So I personally think it was an external force that moved me. Okay, I'm using the external force. I'm, I don't want to use the word God, even though I know it's God. The reason is because God speaks to us in several ways.
Okay.
Okay, whilst some people, somebody will be lying down. I've not had that before, but a voice from heaven will speak to that person. Others too may get it through a friend, okay? Others through an advice from a pastor. Others will come in this way, through circumstances, conditions. Then it will just kick you off. Then that is enough for you to move on and do something for yourself. And then you move on. Don't forget, I told you we're using one car, we're doing, my dining hall was my office, my printer was there, everything was there, doing everything myself, you know, because I couldn't employ people to do all those things for me. I didn't have enough money to pay everybody, you know, so I had to do all those things. So again, much as God is going to direct and work with us, God expects us to work hard. Okay. Now, I've said it several times in church that God loves to use hard workers.
Yeah.
And I also know there's this saying that the reward for hard work is hard work. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if you want job to be done, don't give it to a lazy person. Give it to a busy person.
Okay.
The person who's already busy doing the job, give the person extra job, and that person will get a job done. So if you are working in a company and they are giving you more work to do, don't be complaining. It's because your boss have seen that you're a hard worker. Just do it. The money will come later. But for some of us, why are you giving more job? Don't you say I'm busy? Don't you say I'm busy? Yes, I know you are busy, but I know you can still do this one in the midst of your busy life. So do it. So the reward for hard work is hard work.
The reward for hard work is hard work. Now, I really wish we could go on and on with Reverend Kwashi. There was a question bubbling in my mind, but you see, time is already fast spent. So, unfortunately, I won't ask it because when I start asking some of these questions, it will probe more and more questions. Tonight, I want us to. No, Phantom, our time is up. I
We have
want
more
to.
questions.
I want to acknowledge Bishop. I have seen Elder Ben also around, and all of you. Bishop, thank you very much. Bishop and Mama Angie, thank you for always being here with us.
Philly, let me say this.
Yes, please go ahead. Okay. Go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
Philly, let me.
Please go ahead.
Hello.
Please go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned Elder Ben, and Elder Ben, I remember when I came back 1998, he was driving Opel Ascona.
Okay.
That was my dream.
Okay.
I was praying, young guy from school, I was praying to God help me to buy an Opel Ascona. And one day I saw Elder Ben buying something from a filling station. You know those small shops in the filling station.
Yeah.
And it's perceived that those shops, things are a bit more expensive than the normal market. So I remember telling God, help me so that I will make money to be able to buy from those filling stations. So, Elder Ben, thank you very much. You've been a good role model. And in trying to be like you.
It's the other way around.
That's sweet.
The other way around.
Network, we are losing our guest. Okay, so thank you very much, Elder Ben, for being an inspiration to our guest as well. And Bishop, once again, I say a very big thank you. Mama Angie, thank you so much. All of you for joining us tonight. I say thank you. Like we said the last time, if we come with our Zoom meeting and you don't join in, what would our program be like? If we come and our guest doesn't show up, it wouldn't be a success. So we want to say we are in this together with you. A very big thank you for always sticking with us. I want to say a very special thank you to my team for the marvelous work you've been doing. We wouldn't have done this without you. So thank you very much. I say God richly bless you. And without much ado, I wish our guests were around. Can we have our guest? He's back.
Yeah.
Reverend Kwashi, you are here. Okay.
Yes.
We wanted to have your last words and call it a night.
We thank God for all of you and the youth. You are doing very well. We want to encourage you in all that you're doing. I sincerely believe many of you are on the right path. Just work hard and God will glorify his name in your lives. And for the others too who are in school, please learn hard. Even if you have to put your legs in water to study, do that. If you have to stand and study, do that. Do everything so that God's name will be glorified. If you're intelligent in school, you come out, it's your same old friends who will recommend you for jobs. So please do study hard and God bless you. We really appreciate all that you are doing as youth, and we'll talk more. Amen.
Thank you, Reverend Kwashi. Thank you so much for being available tonight. Mama Dolly, we know you have allowed our daddy for us tonight. You say thank you, and God bless you. Do have a good night, guys.
Yeah, Philly. Guys, today the Reverend you spoiled the God.
Felicia, when is the next Inspire? Felicia, when is the next Inspire meeting?
Our next Inspire meeting is on the 20th, if I'm not mistaken. Our speaker will be Derek. Derek, are you there? Derek, that's why you want me to talk about it. It's on the
Derek, why you
20th,
love yourself?
20th of September. Guys, look out for Derek, our one and
Wait.
only pen top.
Derek
we
is
will-
and talk. Boy.
we will know who the pen is and why there is a pen top. Have a good night, guys. Have a good night. Have a good night.
I sleep for everyone.
Look with wonder at the depth of the Father's marvelous love that He has lavished on us. He has called us and made us His very own beloved children. Beloved, what can separate us from the love of God? Greater love has no man than this, that He laid down His life for us. Thank you, Jesus. Beloved. Jesus, I'm deep in love with you, so deep in love with you. You can take my heart and give me your heart. Jesus, I'm deep in love with you, so deep in love with you. You can take my heart and give me your heart. I cannot explain why you love me so, Jesus, Jesus. I cannot explain why you love me so, Jesus, Jesus. Oh, I'm deep in love with you. I'm deep in love with you, Lord. You can take my heart and give me your heart.